Pop.
Welcome to Thunder Nerds. I'm Janelle Pizarro.
And I'm Frederick Philip Von Weiss, and thank you for consuming the Thunder Nerds, a conversation with the people behind the technology that love what they do.
And do tech good.
How? Doing tech. Na. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you watching the show. And if you can, we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love for you to provide us a like or review on iTunes. We're also going to start reading our reviews. Janelle, do you want to read this latest review that we have?
No, because I'm on my phone and can't see anything.
Well, there we go. So that's why. So I will read this review. This review comes from arthillsart.com. Thank you so much. FYI, Art was a guest on the show a while back, and we'll put a link to that episode. These guys are nerdy, very true, Art, smart and funny. That could be any of us, who knows, which makes it for an easy listening while you work. I learn a lot from the variety of tech guests that do what they do in many different ways. The show motivates me to get myself out there and continue and share my knowledge and process and techniques. Thank you so much, Art, for that awesome review. Really appreciate it. And if you want, we would love to get some more of those so we could read it on the show. So that being said, let's go ahead and welcome our guest and get started. We have, this is going to be a good show. I've been wanting to talk to this guy for a while. We have Animation Ringling College of Art and Design, concept artist, and animation intern with Theory Studios, and we'll go into Theory Studios in a little bit, Carlos Martinez. Welcome to the show, Carlos.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've been excited. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this for months.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, you'll pass by and I'm like, it's right around the corner. It's right here.
Yeah, here we go. So,
we are.
Carlos, if you don't mind telling us, for the people that don't know, and obviously I do, but where are you located? Where are you joining us from?
So right now, well, technically right down the street, but in Bradenton, Florida, right, where is it? I think maybe 30 minutes from Ringling. So, yep, Bradenton, Florida. Or Lakewood Ranch, should I say.
Gotcha. So let me ask you, did Ringling bring you to Bradenton, Florida, or are you from here?
So I've lived here most of my life. I came down here, I think, when I was 4, I want to say. And, I went to school literally locally, all these little schools around here, Nolan, Willis. And so, Ringling's always just been in my backyard. And so, from I want to say 7th grade, I always want to be like, I tell myself, you're going to go to Ringling, this is what you want to do. And so
7 years old, you were telling me this stuff then?
No, 7th grade.
7th grade. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And so Ringling right there in the backyard practically. And so, it's just kind of always like it's been meant to be. So
that's awesome. Okay, cool. So what made you want to do this way back in 7th grade? Like, what was the inspiration? What were you looking at?
Man. So pretty much art has been in my whole entire life. Like my family, my grandparents, my great grandparents, art's just been in the family. And so from me being from a very young age, I'd been drawing for a long time. And yeah, so, I'd always be drawing either that or watching, animated movies like crazy, whether it be on long road trips or, just at home. I'd be watching Toy Story, Bugs Life, all these great movies. I always had a love for film. Even back in middle school, and I used to make short films with my buddies, but the biggest thing was just art in general. And so because I was so passionate about art, I always kind of had a love for it, and I knew that's something that I wanted to do in the future as a career.
Did that art passion, or rather that passion for art, come from an inspiration from these movies, or where did that germinate from?
So this passion, it's honestly just been in my life this whole, ever since I could hold a crayon. And so, I'd been drawing on napkins, drawing on paper, wherever I could, when I was little. And so I'd always been drawing. And so it definitely had the creative, passion and energy flowing through me from a young age. But definitely I will say that, movies and film and definitely inspired me to, expand on that and, experiment with different things.
So why Ringling in particular? Was it just because it's down the street, or did you look at other art schools?
So Ringling, yeah, I definitely looked at other art schools, but I always knew kind of because I wanted to incorporate my ability to draw and create art and do all these things, but as well have a passion for film, that I wanted to do something in animation, and so I looked at a whole bunch of different schools, whether it be New York, SCAD, Cal Arts, of course, and Ringling, and Ringling has always had a huge reputation, an amazing reputation when it comes to animation. And so, I'd always had my eyes set on Ringling, and I was like, I think that's the one for me. And so, and of course, being in my backyard definitely was a plus to
it. Yeah, absolutely. I also am a resident of Florida, and I've been here for for a long time, since I was 12, and I'm 29 now, so it's been a while. But yeah, I went to Ringling myself, and it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
none of those things were true, but yes, Ringling was a great experience. Yes.
like as a developer, I have no idea what Ringling is. So could you expound on what is Ringling? It's I've realized it's a school for probably people who do art, but could you expound more on what it does, what its specialties are, where it's at?
Yeah,
Before you go, sorry to interrupt. Hey, Janelle, we can't see you right now. Your camera's
Depression.
I know, right? Sorry to interject. Go ahead, Carlos.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. So Ringling is full, I guess, name is Ringling College of Art and Design, and it's located right downtown Sarasota. I want to say, Florida, and so pretty much they range from all different majors. I know they have a bunch more that they're including and are taking off like crazy. But they range from design to motion design, animation, illustration, film, fine arts, photography. Man, the list goes on and on.
Even business school.
Even business, yeah, absolutely. They have it all right now, and so they specialize in the arts and just amazing program itself for anybody trying to pursue a career, whether it be in like I said, design, animation, etc. All these things.
So what are your projections for after school? What does it look like after this? What do you expect? Do you expect to walk into employment day one after you graduate? What is that gonna be in your mind?
So yeah, that's definitely the plan. Ooh, I think Janelle actually. Oh, she'll be back.
I'm here. It's
Hello.
fine.
Perfect. But yeah, no. So that's definitely the plan. I'd love to walk out with a job offer. I think right now the main goal is, of course, graduate and have a couple job offers for me, and by the whether it be the end of the school year, pretty much. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Yeah, so pretty much I'd like to have a job coming out of school right when I graduate, and being able to hopefully move over to California, and that's where the industry is booming right now for, I think, entertainment, whether it be animation as well. But a large, well-known company would be great. Of course, everybody wants Pixar, everybody wants Disney, all these big names, but there's so many other studios that have such great opportunities that I'm just anywhere around there, I'd be happy, so we'll see how it goes, but that's the plan right now.
So are you actively pursuing those careers? Are you socializing with these companies?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a few friends that are actually currently working at some of these companies, whether it be Blue Sky or Pixar or Disney. I have a few friends. I have a couple. You make connections all over the place. These people are definitely, yeah. So I'm definitely socializing with everybody that I can, and yeah. So definitely trying to pave my way.
So are you going to look for that job before you move out or to California, or is it like a week after graduation, you got your plane ticket, you're jumping on the plane, you're on Southwest, and you're over there?
Well, definitely, I'd like to have a job offer before I do make such a big move over there. It can be a bit harder when you're just going over there, just like, all right, I'm going to go over there now, because California, it's not a cheap place.
No. No,
So
and it's
definitely,
also very competitive.
yes, very, very. So I'd love to have a job offer before I make any big commitments because, yeah, California is booming, like I said. But now that I think of it, you have places like New York, you have Texas, you have all these big places that also have other great studios. So wherever, the opportunities take me, I'm happy to go.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of different opportunities in multiple different states,
Yeah.
or even different countries, possibly. So,
hmm
speaking about those kind of jobs, what would you think the biggest challenges are for you right now to get into one of those positions? Is it? Sorry to interject, but
No, you're
is
fine.
it possibly your current location?
Um, as in why that might make it a little bit difficult to get into that job?
Yeah, so when I hear from a lot of different companies that maybe aren't remote friendly
Mhm.
or fully remote, is that they look for people that are in their immediate area.
Mm.
So when I think about finding an opportunity, say in California
Yeah.
or Texas, sometimes it's easier to get on a list of a top 10 people to pick
Mm.
from when you're in those locations. That's one of the challenges I can
Mm.
foresee in your future. But what are some of the challenges that you believe are expected
Um,
of you?
yeah, I can see a lot of that possibly being a thing. I will say though, I've been noticing a lot more of remote companies picking up a little bit more of like remote workers, or also from all over the places. So some will be maybe working in out of country or maybe in another state, whatever it might be. And so I see that also picking up a little bit. But I think some of the challenges right now is definitely being so competitive, and I'm noticing a lot more people are like, oh look, animation, like I'm really liking this. And so the competition, I think, is definitely growing, as we speak. And so that's definitely going to be a challenge. But, I think when it comes to whether it be companies looking for you in their backyard, it's just determining whether you're flexible or not. That wouldn't, I think for me, that wouldn't be too much of a challenge. But right now at the moment, it's just the competitivity. Is that a word? I think, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. We can
There
make
you
up
go.
any word we
We'll
want.
make it up. There you
Yeah.
go. But yeah, the competition definitely between everybody, because it's a huge rat race when it comes down to it, and everybody's wanting to gun for the same, whether position or work at the same place, or so definitely competition, I think, is the main yeah.
What
Yeah,
is that like your biggest fear is your competition?
No, not at all, actually. If anything, that definitely pushes me and drives me to want to do better than my competition. If anything, I think I don't really have too much of fears at the moment as it is. Just I think it's more of just wanting what else I can do is that's the main thing I want, is what more that I can do to better myself as at the moment.
That's really nifty.
Yeah.
Um, so as someone who's like just starting out,
Mhm.
well, not necessarily just starting out, but kind of trying to get your foot in the door
Yeah.
professionally, have you found any mentors and people that you can kind of look up to kind of steal from, I guess, so to speak? So there's always like there's this concept of stealing like an artist. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
heard of it.
Definitely heard of it.
And it's pretty great. I love it. And because no idea is essentially original, right? Like you're
hmm
always stealing, like the best kind of things are stolen from everywhere, right?
hmm
With credit to whoever it is, right?
Absolutely.
Um, and so I'm just wondering if maybe you have kind of somebody that you kind of admire that maybe goes into your own work that you kind of manipulate to be your own thing, and maybe you talk to them personally.
So I definitely do have both mentors and people that I find inspiration in my work. Um, so I guess I'll start off with mentors. I do have a few, some that are actually currently working in the industry. There's one, and he's worked for Disney and Pixar, and he's a big name, not too bad, but he's amazing guy, super super nice,
Can you
and
drop a name?
his name's Matt Sullivan.
Yeah.
There you go. You're good. Matt Sullivan. He's a super nice guy, great guy, and he's just willing to help anybody. And actually, I met him through Ringling's alumni program. He was an alumni, And so what they do is they'll set you up with, if you'd like, you sign up and you give your email, and somebody that is currently in the industry and has graduated will email you. And, you know, if you have questions or anything, they'll be able to give you advice and stuff. So it's super, super great, super nice guy. I'm glad that I met him through that. And, you know, I have a couple of buddies. My one buddy, Aaron Pinell, he's actually currently a concept artist at Scribblepad Studios, if I'm correct, in California right now, and doing amazing work, great stuff. He was a mentor of mine back from high school, and, you know, he's been a buddy of mine ever since then. And so, you know, I have a few more connections here and there of just mentors that I can reach out to, and they'll give me feedback and help. And so it's super cool.
That's a great resource.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's always great to get critique, whether it be from a classmate to, you know, people that are in the industry right now, and you get to see, you know, how their mind works, what they're thinking, and, you know, how you can make yourself better. So it's super cool to also have these answers, you know, or questions answered by, you know, them and stuff. And just have them as a friend in general. That's super cool. Inspiration wise, I definitely I love when it comes now. There's different things. I think for me right now, traditional wise, I have a big inspiration when it comes to like traditional work, and that's Kim Jung-gi, and he is if I'm correct, Korean ink artist, and so that's actually his poster right here, and I love his work, absolutely love his work, and, you know, he likes to draw from pretty much every single angle of perspective, and so, you know, he likes to learn, I guess, a new object every day, whether it be from every single angle. And for me, I'm a huge perspective nut, and so I love me drawing some perspective and everything, and he loves his machinery, and so definitely I found stuff that, you know, I've had all these things that I enjoy to draw and stuff, and I ended up finding his work, and I was like, oh, it's super cool, you know, and so I practiced a lot of his techniques and stuff, and definitely use some of those techniques in my work. You know, man, I have a list, to tell you the truth. Just, it could go on and on and on, but, you know, a bunch of painters, whether it be, you know, just, I got a whole list, but that's the main one at the moment that I find a huge inspiration in.
Cool.
So learning to draw and knowing how to draw really helps with your career?
I think so, yes. Now, in animation, you don't do as much drawing after freshman year. Not too much drawing is involved. You do have some visual development work, like concept art, creating your characters, stuff like that. But it definitely does help you in just not having to worry about that extra bit. If you struggle in drawing or anything like that, it kind of takes that little struggle out, or that challenge out. And so knowing how to draw definitely helps. For me, you know, whether it be drawing an environment or getting an idea how the character will actually move in an animation, everything kind of just helps, and everything clicks and works together. So the more skills that you honestly have, I can say, definitely help you when it comes to, you know, in your career or whatever, animation, especially for me.
Yeah, I imagine it's not mandatory, but it definitely would help out with storyboarding and character development.
Absolutely, yeah, because definitely like pre-production of everything, whether it be your thesis or a simple animation or a quick storyboard, that is absolutely huge, because, you know, in the end you can make it all pretty and super nice, but, you know, if you have some good pre-production work before that's good, what's gonna make it, that's gonna get all the muscles and all the bones in the final piece.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I love that concept.
So you already have a intern job as well, right? You're starting down your path.
Yes. So I'm currently at Theory Studios, and great studio. I get to work remotely from home, actually, and so it's super cool to see his studio doing that. But I'm doing some animation and some concept art for them, so it's a lot of fun. Great stuff. And yeah, they've asked me to stay on right now throughout the school year. And so, yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to see how that goes. I'm super excited to see what else I can work on, and the other opportunities. So, you know, I'm just super thankful that they let me have this opportunity.
That must be a good sign. Do you think that they might like take you on full time after you?
Definitely there's always that possibility. Definitely got to wait and see where the road takes me right now. But you know, I'm just happy to be able to be working alongside these people, and they're great. Everyone on the team is actually like super cool, super nice. They'll give you feedback on anything you need, and it's awesome. You know, there's so much knowledge to be learned from these people, and so it's cool. So you know, just where the road takes me and where it all goes.
Well, it's
You
interesting
should
too
totally
because a
link
lot
to
of
this,
people.
and we'll vouch.
Oh yeah,
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
You should be
exactly.
like, "Hey,
Show
we're
them this.
vouching. We're vouching."
Yeah, there you go. I like it.
It's cool because a lot of people don't think about getting these kind of internships right away while they're still at school. I mean, you know, obviously some do, but not everybody jumps in the game to get their feet wet and start running. You know, and good for you for doing that. That's the way to start building your portfolio and getting yourself out there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I agree. Internships. What I've learned from just this internship this summer so far is I've learned so much just in such a short amount of time. They've somehow compressed all this knowledge into these couple months right here, and I've learned so much. But you know, it's honestly super cool because you're already kind of like, it's like you're working in the industry right there. Now you're still in school, of course, but you're getting a taste of what it's going to actually be like. And so, you know, this little taste I've gotten is like super, like just pumps me up for like, you know, the actual end result. And you're just like, all right, man, I can't wait to get out and just start working. So it's super cool, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love too that you could work remotely. Is that within our industry with Janelle and myself with development, you could easily work remote, even as far as within the design realm too. Is that a prevalent thing within character animation?
Working remotely.
Yeah.
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I know for this studio, they definitely use working, you know, over video chat and stuff like that, and a little bit more. And getting to work remotely, I think they definitely use that a lot. But I don't know. I want to say that I've heard a couple other, whether it be friends that are already in the industry right now, they get to work remotely sometimes from home. And actually, one of my buddies gets to work from home. He's I think down in Orlando at the moment. But I think it's something that's definitely starting to be used a lot more, which is super cool because you know you get to be working from the comfort of your own home. Now, I will say that I definitely want to have an experience in the studio, and I think that would be super cool. But it's, you know, I don't think working remotely is going away anytime soon. If anything, it's going to be growing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more of a thing within all industries. But you know, there's something to be said for when you're first starting out and having that team environment and having the people to the left and to the right of you and getting to pick their brain about what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's that's absolutely. I agree with you. I couldn't agree more. Especially even at school itself, you know, being able to talk to the person next to you, like, hey, real quick, like, do you know how to do this real quick? Or if they ask you a question, you can help them. It's definitely something I'm looking forward to seeing and experiencing in the future. So, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think sanity checks are super great too. Like being able to be like, "Hey, am I crazy or does this look wrong?" Right?
Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
but also I think there's, you know, to kind of counteract what you guys are saying as well, there's a lot of, I think, validity in, you know, kind of working on your own, right? And being remote, because then you have that struggle, right? Like you have to learn things on your own. You have to, you know, feel your gut and be like, is this right or is this wrong? And, you know, could I do this better? And you can research a little bit more on your own, and you're not dependent on asking the person next to you for that sanity check. So you can grow as a remote worker as well, which I think is pretty nice.
No, absolutely. I think it if anything, it definitely pushes you more to just go out there and actually, you know, do a lot of research, as in like, how, okay, I'm not understanding how to actually fix this, what's going on. And now you have to go out on your own, rather than, you know, you can ask somebody next to you and be like, hey, how do you do this? And they're like, oh, just click. And you're like, all right, thanks. And that's definitely something I've noticed working, is, you know, every now and then I'm like, okay, what is going on? Why is this not doing what I want? And, you know, just having to go out there and then search the web for a good, you know, half an hour or so until I'm like, finally, I found some page behind a page that tells me how to do this. And, you know, from there you add it to your notes. But, you know, in the end, it definitely makes you, I think you retain it a lot better and everything. So, yeah, you'll grow definitely more as a person. Or not as a person, just grow your bank of knowledge by sometimes being independent. But Yeah, I think both sides have definitely their pros and cons to them. So yeah.
Also, too, it's so advantageous for companies to be able to pull knowledge from anywhere, right? They could hire somebody within any state, anywhere in the world, rather than just looking at their backyard, and they might find somebody that's a perfect fit
Oh,
200 miles away.
absolutely. Yeah. If I'm correct, I know we have a few people that are well, I know in theory everybody's from all over the place. Some people are from Texas. Some people are literally down the road from me. And then there's a few people over there in California, and I thought there was somebody in Germany at one point. So you have people from all over the place. So you also get to just interact with whether it be so many different cultures, but also just everybody, like and meet all these different people rather than people that are in the area. You get to expand out around. So that's super super cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm sure that influences your work too.
Absolutely.
Being able to get that knowledge from somebody from Germany, like that's kind of awesome, right? So I have a question for you. What is kind of like your list of, I guess, top 3 favorite resources for yourself that you like to use?
Resources as in like whether it be going for reference or
Yeah, to kind of like look at, hey, this is what's, trending right now, or,
New techniques.
this is how I should get better at this, or something like that.
Okay. Definitely. So I like to use ArtStation is huge. I think you get to see a lot of people's work on there, and so that'll definitely bring inspiration at times. I know Kotaku definitely has a lot of stuff when it comes to learning about like new things in the industry and stuff. They cover a bunch of stuff. Honestly, it's just like a huge just thing for like news. I like to use so let me think. When it comes to I know social media plays a huge thing, and definitely word of mouth is what I've learned. But definitely social media. So Facebook is also a very big thing. I noticed there's a lot of groups on Facebook that are just pretty much dedicated to animation or whatever it might be, illustration, stuff like that. And so they'll either be helping each other or being like, yo, this new thing just came out. Look at this. For example, I know the Incredibles came out with like a new technology for their rigs and for the models in general, like whenever they're animating. And so that was a huge talk of the town. And so you get to see these new things that are coming out in the industry. So I know social media plays a huge part in it. And so I definitely try to stay up to date when it comes to social media on computer animation and illustration, all these things. So yeah.
Facebook, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even think that Facebook would be like the go-to. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because you would never guess it, but every now and then I'll be scrolling and somebody shared this from this page and I'm like, oh, what's this? And you go to the go to that page and you'll find a bunch of other people that are in the same career animation stuff, and they're sharing other stuff, and so you're learning, you're getting all these different pieces of information of what's new or what people are doing or how to make yourself better. So I definitely use Facebook is great. And that doesn't I don't just stop at Facebook. Of course, I pretty much just use the internet, like Google in general, and sometimes I'll just see what I can find. I know there's websites like Rusty Animator that are there and they show you tutorials on how to animate or step by step, or how to understand things a little bit better. As well as there are programs that you have, I guess, like Anim School and Anim Squad. These they kind of have little courses for you to follow, and or that you take a whole class and you can learn. So there's so many resources, but I know when wanting to stay up to date, it's everywhere. But Facebook's definitely one that I've noticed has a lot of stuff recently.
I'm sure too you could get lost in like subreddits and things like that.
Oh man, yeah.
Did you want to say hi to Kayla? She's watching. She says, "Look at this kid." Thanks for watching, Kayla.
Thank you. What's up?
Just wanted to read some live chats. Appreciate you guys
absolutely.
live chatting with us. Hey, what I wanted to ask you was, what is your kind of marketing yourself plan for when you graduate? Like, do you have something that you are already kind of crafting? Like, what does it look like 6 months before you graduate? Do you have plans for like a YouTube channel, an IGTV channel, some kind of website where you're showing these things? Are you going to try to set yourself up as a subject matter expert or somebody that's learning, like, starting something like a, hey, I'm graduating college in 6 months. Look at my project and start showing your work. Like, do you have any kind of things like this that you're going to present a company? Like you said, you're going to wait until you get a job at one of these locations in California, Texas, whatnot. How are you going to prepare a body of work for them to look at? And is it just a portfolio, or are you going to provide a kind of a whole marketing plan with this?
And okay, so with this, I know a big part of when you are trying to showcase your work for animation, you like to a lot of animators, and what we've been shown at Ringling is to create a reel. And so what you do in a reel is pretty much you, of course, you start with your intro, and then from there you add pretty much snippets, if not the full entire animation of your work. So whether it be, oh, here's a walk cycle, okay, now here's a jump, here's a character doing this short story right here, and so you add this whole little whether it be 2 minutes, and from there you showcase pretty much your best work, what you can do in animation, all these things. Promoting yourself, I definitely recommend to anyone pretty much starting social media. Social media nowadays, I've noticed, is the main key to anything, and on getting yourself out there with everybody. And so
I've heard of this social media thing. Tell me more.
I know. So it's I've started also an art page for my Instagram, or on Instagram, and from there definitely posting your work on YouTube is cool. You'll get definitely views, people reaching out to you. That's great. But I think the main thing, if you're going to want to show any studio your work, is a reel. And so that's the main thing. Of course, you can submit your full portfolio, whether it be traditional concept work. But depending on what you're applying for me, I'd want to be a character animator. And so I'd want to submit a reel, an animation reel.
So that's your main goal. You want to be a character animator after school.
Yeah, that's the main goal for me. That's what I find a lot of joy in doing, is just being able to animate, whether it be a character, doing whatever they need.
Do you mind if I ask you, what kind of applications are you using? What's your toolbox like to build these things?
Yeah, absolutely. So we use a bunch of stuff at Ringling, and they supply us with pretty much anything we could dream of. And so the main ones that we've been using though are Maya. And so Maya is the main application you use for animating. We use ZBrush, which is 3D modeling. And then what else do we use? We use a bunch of other stuff. We use Premiere. We use After
Effects, I imagine.
Definitely a little bit of After Effects. I know a little bit more in Premiere. Man, the list goes on and on. I know the main ones we've been using recently are Maya and ZBrush. Give me a minute, and I'll think of some other ones right now. Gotcha. I know there's a whole bunch of them. So,
but Maya is probably where you live most of your day, right?
Maya is definitely where we live most of the time. Photoshop is also huge. It plays a big role when it comes to creating textures and stuff like that, and applying stuff to our characters. Yeah, making it look all pretty and nice.
Yeah, that makes sense instead of just all vectored out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you mind telling us a little bit of your experience that you've had at Ringling, and go into that a little bit from, not so much of a deep dive, but like an overall of like from day one and to where you're at now, and how prepared you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, man, from the beginning. So day one, I parked. I got out. Okay, no. So, from day one all the way up until now, I absolutely loved it. And I've learned so much. But day one, freshman year, you learn a lot of basic traditional skills, and they teach you a lot of the fundamentals that you need in order to jump into animation. And so I think from second semester freshman year, you already start traditionally animating some animations, of course. And it's a lot of fun. But sophomore year, you jump into a lot of animation, a lot more actual nitty gritty animation, working in Maya, and all computers and stuff, all computer stuff. Not too much traditional anymore. But going into junior year, it's going to be straight, computers as well. And that's going to be all the way up until you graduate. And honestly, I feel super prepared. They cover everything that you need to know, and they cover, extra if you want to learn more. But they do honestly an amazing job. Everybody helps, like students help students. Professors are there for you to reach out to them, which is absolutely amazing. And you can create these awesome relationships with these professors, in which you get to communicate with them. They'll tell you their experiences, everything like that. But overall, I feel like very prepared. And it's just me now excited, waiting to see what my next assignment is when I start the next school year, or the next semester. Sorry, should I say?
Yeah. So you have one more year left, right?
Yeah, I'm going to my junior year right now, and then I'll have senior year after that.
So do they actually?
So it's 4 years?
Yeah, it's a four-year
school. Yep.
Yeah. Do they actually prepare you for? I mean, they're bringing in people for you to talk to, right?
Yep.
As well. So that's great. So some of these places, they bring you in and they get you out the door, but they're actually taking the extra steps to bring in prospects and say, hey, look at our students. Because from my understanding, they actually pick a lot of Ringling students up and bring them to these their locations. It's like a fresh bowl of fruit. They're going, oh, that looks good. That looks
exactly
good. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So they bring in a whole bunch of people every year. They bring in Sony, they bring in Pixar, they bring in Nickelodeon, they bring in Disney, Blue Sky. I could go on. The list goes on and on. They brought in 3 studios. Of course, that's how I ended up meeting those guys. And they also bring in just actual regular speakers, whether it be Aaron Blaise, who directed Brother Bear, everyone, current people, just alumni themselves that are currently working in the industry, they share their experiences, what they've learned, all these things. And so it's super, super great. And, you get to talk to these recruiters, see what they want. Maybe if you're early year and you're thinking about applying for an internship the next year, you get to talk and see and be like, hey, what should I be including in my portfolio? Or if you are a junior, you get to show them, or a senior, you could be like, hey, this is my work so far. What do you think? And so you do have all these opportunities that Ringling brings to the students, which is super great. As well as they do have career services, which is pretty much a huge networking for you. Even out of college, it's available to you. And they connect you with, whether it be alumni or all these opportunities around. So Ringling definitely has a gold mine when it comes to providing their students with opportunities for getting jobs out of school. And even during school. So it's super cool. The list goes on what they offer the students. So yeah, like you said, some places like to get you in and out of the door. Ringling kind of makes sure you're kind of taken care of, and they give you as many possibilities and opportunities for you to find something and be able to do what you love.
That's
Are they
awesome.
also helping you with say adulting skills, like when you get out, like, hey, this is how you find an apartment, or this is how you pay bills, or this is how you open up a bank account?
Yes. So they definitely, again, career services deals with a lot of that stuff. I don't know about the paying bills part. They definitely, financial aid is there as well. And they kind of, they'll help explain things to you if you do have questions. But like I said, career services, out of school, all these things, they have all these resources that do help you for when you are transitioning out of school into the real, actual working environment. So it is cool that they do offer a lot of these things.
When you started school, how many students did you have in your classes versus how many do you have now?
Oh boy. So what is it? I'm trying to think what the number is now. So when I started, I know my major itself, I don't know. Oh, excuse me. So the school, I'm just going to stick with my major because I know the number for my major, to tell you the truth. But we started off, I think, with 100 kids, and right now, and so what was that per class? Probably, I don't even know, 20 kids per class or something like that. I know that we've lost quite the amount, if not close to half, if not more than that.
Almost half.
Almost there. I want to say, if I'm correct, I know that this upcoming year, classes are very, very they're a little less, they're a little bit more empty than they were last year, especially and so I want to say maybe, I'm guessing 10 kids per class this upcoming year. which is definitely a huge drop. Not drop, but a huge number comparison to freshman year. But the main thing is whether it be kids just realizing that maybe this isn't for them and they like another major or whatever like that. But I've noticed maybe a couple of my buddies are like, I'm not feeling CA, but illustration's been awesome, and so I'm gonna jump over there, and they're having the time of their lives now.
That's very common in your first year, yeah.
Absolutely. So it's either way, it's super cool to see your buddies, whether it be everybody kind of figuring out what they want. But definitely Ringling pushes the kids hard enough that way they make sure that they're this is what you guys want, and they they prepare you. They're making sure that they prepare you and groom you and work you as hard as they can. That way you're ready for the actual industry and working when you're ready to work in a company. So it's definitely a lot of work, but it's worth it, I think.
Cool. And another question, what is the gender kind of like, the gender ratio? How many women versus men are there?
So it's funny because and this is actually awesome. Back then, I think back a couple of years back, maybe 5-6 years back, even professors have been talking about this, and they're like, oh, this is great. It used to be a very male dominated major, and it used to be maybe, I don't know, three girls or females per class, and majority is male. But recently, it's been dominated by females a lot, and so it's super cool to see how everything's just kind of transitioning, and how everything is just kind of it's shifting with time, and this is awesome. And I know that in my actual computer animation class there were I think a class of maybe 15 or 16 kids, and I think it was 3 guys and the rest were just were girls or were women, and it was it was funny. We'd always laugh about it because the guys would be kind of in their group and we'd be like but it was so it's definitely been shifting, and it's changed a lot, I think, over the years, which is it's cool to see how the industry is just changing with time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need that over on the tech side.
Yeah, we really do.
Definitely.
What would you say is the biggest kind of value you've received from Ringling?
Value as in how?
In any kind of way. It could be as an inspiration. It could be as skills. It could be a certain situation that you experienced.
Okay. Yeah. So I can think of a bunch, but definitely. Yeah. Oh man. So skill set wise, they've Ringling has taught a lot of different things, whether it be from I know for me, time management, organization, making sure you're organized, connections. So you want to socialize and work with your peers, and teamwork and all these good things. But man, the list goes on and on. They give you they provided me with opportunities upon opportunities, help wherever I needed it, whether it be in like I said, financial aid, career services, or just even going to a professor. But I think definitely just improving my skill set and knowledge in any form that I need, whether I be wanting to improve myself in visual development, animation, whatever it is. They've given me that opportunity to be able to have that at my fingertips, at information and stuff. But I've learned a lot as in improving myself as a person, and yeah, especially like I said, time management, organization, all these fundamental skills that you need, I think, and are super important when it comes to working in the industry.
Absolutely, yeah. We're just about at the end of the show, and we got a few more segments to go on, Carlos. Mm-hmm. And what we normally do at this point is we have Brian's spotlight question, but Brian is in the where is he at? He's somewhere in the mountains on his birthday. So, yeah. So
there you go.
Hope you're having a great time, brother. Miss you. But we're going to jump into Brian's spotlight question.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he actually phoned it in. He provided the question. It's going to be, how do you handle a moment when you are angry, about a work-related situation. Now, Carlos, the way this works, it's a group question. So we're all going to take a turn at this. I'll go, Janelle, and then you have a moment to handle a moment when you're angry about a work-related situation. Usually, for me, I try to find empathy and think about if there's, parties involved and what they're thinking and how I could find alignment with them. So if I employ the tactics of dropping ego completely and not attaching myself to something and finding a piece of work, whether it's design, development, or what have you, precious, and just kind of letting go and really listening and trying to get to the root of maybe what somebody else is trying to explain. So I think for me, it's about just being calm and relaxing and trying to step into someone else's shoes. What about you, Janelle?
For me, I am very much a...
Janelle hits people.
I hit people, yes.
I've seen her do it.
What happens? Knockout. Done. One punch and it's over.
I'm missing a tooth.
Oh, man.
It was horrible.
We don't work together, by the way.
Yeah. I cried a little bit, but I liked it.
There you go.
I just did it for fun.
Oh boy.
Well, for me, I go to we actually right by my job there's a makeup store, so I'll go in and just spend money on makeup. That's a very good stress reliever for me. And a lot of times, what happens then is I'll be able to come back the next day and just be like, "Well, really, was that worth the me being angry? Was it just my machine? Like maybe I had a computer issue that day and it wasn't really an issue with someone else. It was more I was angry at my laptop or lunch was not enough lunch, that kind of thing." So I feel like just kind of putting yourself in a different environment entirely kind of helps out, and sitting outside works too. I spend 3 hours a day outside working out of the office. So that way, I'm nowhere near anybody. I can kind of focus in on my own work. And, if there is an issue, I've already put myself away from it. So then I can come back fresh and be like, well, what issue? It wasn't even an issue. It's fine. It's fine.
There you go.
Nice perspective.
Yeah, that's great. I use a little bit of both. And I think if I'm definitely frustrated with whatever I'm working on at the moment, I'll think about whether, also how long I've been sitting there and working on it itself. Because sometimes, when you are working on a piece of animation or whatever it is, you'll sit there from, 4 or 5 hours at a time, just, without looking up, and you're just like, kind of glued to the screen. And so sometimes if I'm definitely stuck, I'll definitely do, I'll even, blah, blah, blah.
I've done that before.
Exactly.
Blah,
Right?
blah, blah.
I'll either, I'll get up, I'll take a quick little walk around, the labs, see how everybody's doing, kind of like, hey, how's it going for you and stuff like that. Just, give my mind or eyes a quick break just to, when you do approach it, sometimes with fresh eyes, you can, figure out what's going on or what was frustrating you so much. Also reaching out for critique from whether it be professors or other, peers of mine. And, getting to see like what they think. And, of course, I think having an open mind when it comes to critique is absolutely important. If you can't take critique, then it's gonna be a long road.
I've seen people cry.
Oh yeah, and you can't. You're gonna be like, all right, I got to do it. But
I've cried.
Hey man, we all do. Reaching out to my peers and sometimes just taking a second to just rest my eyes or whatever it might be, just from there and think about also how else I can approach it or what I've been looking at it in this way, in this light. What if I were to shift off the angle and be like, okay, let me think about it like this now. I try to I think that's another thing Ringling's taught me is problem solving. And that's a huge thing that you need, especially in animation, is just being able to problem solve and figure out, how to fix things when things are like you're just freaking out at them. And so those are the main things I've learned that work for me. It's just kind of like taking a break, asking a peer, for critique, and then just kind of approach it in a different way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well said.
I
Well,
think it's ready.
I believe it's
Is
your
it
lightning
fire?
round.
What was that?
Wait,
It's
I
lightning.
thought it
We're
was
doing
fire.
lightning round.
Oh.
Lightning. Okay.
Lightning
cool,
round.
Cool. Alrighty. So this is when we ask you a wait. It's not wait. Lightning round.
Yeah, we
Lightning round
changed
is
the name
like
from
fast
rapid fire to
questions.
lightning round.
Oh, okay. JK. It's lightning round now. JK. So this is where we ask you a ton of questions,
Okay.
but like really fast.
Rapidly.
And by really
like a
fast,
rapid
it's
round.
like yeah, like that. So yeah, it could just be like random stuff,
Okay.
or things that we just forgot to ask you during the whole show. So yeah, it could be anything like, what's your favorite pizza topping to what's your favorite tool in your toolbox, right?
There you go.
So I will go first. What's your favorite color?
All right. I love blue. Blue. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. I'm waiting
sorry.
for Frederick.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was a loop and I couldn't hear you. All I heard was nothing. I didn't even hear you ask the color.
Oh man.
So favorite color blue. Gotcha. Okay,
Blue.
next. What's your favorite thing about yourself?
Oh, favorite thing about myself. Ah, man. I don't know what my favorite thing about myself is.
Next.
There you go. Next.
Dimple, no dimple. Dimple, no dimple.
Dimple, no dimple. Do I like dimple or do I not like dimple? Are you asking that or do I have dimples?
Do you know where that's from?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, sad day.
Oh,
Coco
man.
is the answer.
Coco's the answer.
Oh man. You're right.
Favorite cartoon as a kid?
Favorite cartoon as a kid? Foster's Home. I love that one.
Oh, for imaginary.
Oh,
Foster's
so
Home with
good.
Imaginary Friends,
Yeah, blue, right?
Blue, yeah.
That shook me. Sorry. I had a question, but that shook me because, yes,
I have
Foster's.
a list of them, but that was one of them that just I remember watching a lot.
If you could have any car, what would it be?
Oh man, 1967 Dodge Challenger.
What is the computer that you're currently using?
Currently using at Ringling, I use a HP, and then here I'm currently at home. I use a Razer laptop. Yep.
Cool. What is your favorite food?
Buffalo wings.
If you walked in your house and you saw a ghost, what would you do?
I'm out. I'm not staying. I don't own that house anymore.
Dogs or cats?
The dogs.
Didn't you wear that shirt the day after yesterday?
Yes. Oh man, that one got me for a second.
That one's
Okay.
every time. It's great. Okay. So, IKEA furniture or Target furniture?
Oh, IKEA. I'm just gonna go IKEA.
I'll ask Brian's question. What's your favorite pizza topping?
Buffalo wings. Buffalo chicken.
Oh, buffalo chicken. Okay.
Yeah, buffalo chicken.
Buffalo, all the things.
Buffalo all things. Trust me.
I'm out of rapid questions. Janelle, you?
Me too. I'm done.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
So our final thing we like to ask people, Carlos, is do you have any kind of final words for our audience? Any kind of majestic knowledge that you would like to bestow, or anything that you would like to tell people that are getting into this field?
I think don't be scared of practice. Don't be scared of critique. Always, look at others for inspiration, but also find ways to grow yourself. I think self-growth is the ultimate, thing, and making sure the amount of work that you put in is the amount of work that you'll be able to, and the opportunities you'll be getting out of it. And so, never shy away from making yourself better. Find what you love, of course, and because if you're not going to love it, then there's no point on doing it, kind of thing. But if you're going to be going into the arts or animation or anything like that, like I said, just find ways. Do whether it be doing studies every day, setting up a schedule for yourself. Just as much work as you put in. Always strive to be better than you were. I guess yesterday. That's what I try to do at least. And I guess there'll be bumps along the road, but in the end, they always make you stronger and they make you who you are. And always look at those rather than in a negative way sometimes. take a step back and honestly, like, look at what it's brought you and who it's made you. That's something I've learned a lot about throughout my life recently, I've noticed. And I think that's a super important thing. See how it can make you better, and then how you can just grow yourself as a person.
Yeah, well said. All right. Well, hey, Carlos, how could people get a hold of you? What's some links they could go to?
Oh man, so I got a bunch. All right, so of course you got my email. I don't know if you got my email linked in there at all.
We can link your email if you like.
Perfect, sounds good.
Okay.
So I got my my Twitter, which is gonna be Carlos Art, but just change the A to a V. So it's CVRLOSART. And that's the same thing for my Instagram. And that's going to be all art page, everything. If you want to check me out, I have my website as well. If you can link that one, I don't know.
Oh, we'll link everything in the
Perfect.
show.
Sounds great.
Link all the things.
There you go. Honestly, reach out to me, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, email, any way you like. That's how to get to me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Carlos, we're at the end, man. We really appreciate you joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this for a good while, and so I'm glad that we finally got to do it.
Yeah, it's been great. Normally, we talk to a lot of people that have been, in the industry that they've chosen for a number of years, and it's great to have a fresh perspective of someone that's beginning their career.
Absolutely, yeah, I completely agree. It's good to see all angles of things.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate it. And hey, thank you everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned for the next time, and please subscribe to our channel. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Awesome.
Toodles and noodles.